Luke Richardson revealed the real reason why Lukas Reichel had been scratched for that one-game stretch. The reasons are quite shocking, to be honest with you, so we're going to be covering that in this video. But before we get into it, we notice that 83% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. So if you're looking for a spot to get all your Chicago Blackhawks news, you're in the right spot. Make sure to stay a while, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the news. But we're also very, very close to 1,000 subscribers. So if you haven't hit that sub button, it would mean the world to us if you could. We're very close. We'd like to get there by Christmas. So if you haven't, make sure to hit the sub button, and we do appreciate it very much. But like I said, very, very surprising that Luke Richardson had, I would essentially say, called out Lukas Reichel. His explanation why Lukas Reichel is on the fourth line tonight after being scratched, he said everybody has to check in this league. It's the style of line he'd probably fit in long term? No. But he has to show some determination and get consistent battles and win some pucks. This is a good starting point for him. Now, we know that Lukas Reichel has struggled a lot this season so far. He hasn't looked comfortable wherever he's been, and it's shown on his score sheet. He's been quite bad. He hasn't been good. And this time that he sat away, sitting in the press box, watching the game from a different perspective, hopefully will help him on this roster. And I do firmly believe that it will. Putting him at a new standpoint, being able to see the game from a different angle, it looks good. And I do think that this will help him get into that game more, get a lot more physical, get in the game more, and I think it would certainly help. And Noah, what do you think about this? Lukas Reichel, like we said, on the fourth line today, and it's going to be a big change for him. I think he's going to have to make those steps up. He don't really have a choice. He's given us chances. He's going on the fourth line, and he's going to have to work his way up. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's a big part of this team, right? They drafted him first round, I do believe, there a couple of years ago. I mean, he is 100% like on this team, and he's one of their players moving forward. But that being said, I think they need to invest all their development and figure out how to get him developed, because, like I said, he is a big piece in their forward core. And I mean, this shows that they're all for developing him. I mean, why would you sit him out if you didn't care about him? If you weren't, you wanted to make sure he could be the best player he could be. So I really think that it is going to benefit him, and I'm going to put my he's going to score 2 points tonight, I do believe.
That's a heavy bargain, but he seemed confident. He seems like he knows what his issue was, and he's determined to fix it. Charlie Morelliota said this on Lukas Reichel when asked about his healthy scratch. It's a very good wake-up call, which is such a professional response for someone at his age, acknowledging that he hasn't been great. He has struggled on this roster, and that he's determined to fix it no matter what it takes. He's being accepted on the fourth line. He's being put there. He said, yep, I'm ready to do this, and I'm going to work my way back up to that first line where I belong. Like I said, he's been placed everywhere on this lineup. He was on the first line power play, first line left wing, center, left wing on the second line, but on I think the third line a few times. He's been everywhere, and he just hasn't found a comfortable spot. He's also had a very large plethora of line mates due to the injuries that this team has had, but that's no excuse. You have to be able to gel with anybody in your team if you want to be good in this league. Being weak on the puck is not an option, which Lukas Reichel, we've seen. It sucks to say, but he has been weak on the puck. He needs to be stronger, and I think that seeing this game from a different angle, watching the game where he sat out from a different angle, will certainly help him going into tonight's game against the Nashville Predators. I'll put up the lines here as well. Anthony Beauvillier is on the first line with Bedard and Kurashev. I think that's a fantastic line. Lukas Reichel would have been on that line, but like I said, he's struggled. It hasn't been the right spot for him, and I think that it is his turn now to have to work his way up. He's not being gifted any more line spots. He has to show that he can make it back up there and be ready. So, Noah, other than the physicality, Lukas Reichel, we know that he's a very talented hockey player. He hasn't shown it too much, but we've seen his talent throughout this season, sparks on occasion, but as well outside of this the NHL from this season. We've seen that he can do it. So, do you think he's going to command these lines, or do you think he's just going to play fundamental to work his way back up to the top?
Yeah, I think you'll see him back up on the top line. I really do. I'm a firm believer in the talent that he has. I mean, we've seen that, last year, prior years in Germany, the World Junior team. I mean, he was stellar. He's a very talented hockey player, and I think by the end of the season he'll be up with Connor Bedard and Anthony Beauvillier. I really think that'll be their first line.
That's all hopes. We've seen his talent, like I said, and he knows that there's a lot of talent in the system, not in the NHL, but in the AHL. They know that, I wouldn't say this roster is too scared to send him down if he's still struggling, even on this fourth line come tonight. and a few games later, I don't expect them to give him a spot. You have to work for it, and Lukas Reichel is had his mindset on doing that, and we'll see this tonight, the beginning of it. Obviously, that this lineup is very good. It don't seem like it on paper, but this lineup works well together, and they're still not in a great spot in the standings, whatnot. But this team can work together well, and they've shown it at times. And Lukas Reichel just hasn't been able to do that on this lineup. So I think this is a real wake-up call, like he said about himself. It's a wake-up call being scratched, knowing that they're willing to do it, they're not handing him spots, and that there's a lot of talent in the AHL that are waiting to make their NHL debut. So he knows he has to stick on this lineup. He knows how to stick on this roster to be what he wants to be.
I think him saying that it was a wake-up call just goes to show that, he's all for staying in the Blackhawks, and he wants to develop and become the best player he could be. And, they could send him down to Rockford. They could have him up in the press box every night, but they're putting him on the fourth line, and he's working his way up. So I think you will get the best out of him, because, he's motivated now, He comes back at a be, in the press box for a game, demoted on the fourth line. If that was me, I can pretty well say you'd probably be the same way. You'd want to become the best player you can be to try and make, the coaches and everybody realize, why is he on the fourth line? He should be, up on the second line, first line, PP1, getting any bit of power play time, even if it's power play 2. So that's why I'm standing firm, and I think you will see the best Lukas Reichel this season.
Yeah, and one thing that he knows as well is that to get better, he has to face the best talent, which he knows is in the NHL. You'll never get better talent in the AHL than what's in the NHL currently. So he knows if he wants to get better, he's going to have to play against those top-level guys, which are in the NHL, whether it be, like you said, making his way to the power play, to the top lines. You got to start somewhere, and from the bottom, I think, is the right spot to do it. Change him up with some pairings, get him that little bit less ice time, knowing that he has to work even harder on those shifts to be able to make it back up to first line, second line minutes, and extra power play minutes. So Lukas Reichel, he's determined. He's a very determined player. He wants to be the best player on this team. Knowing that Connor Bedard is there is definitely a bit more motivation as well, where all eyes are on him. He got to want some of that love. Everybody on this team does. So the pressure's also off him by that sense, but he wants to be in that pressure. He wants to be in that spotlight over Connor Bedard. However hard it might be, that's where he wants to be, and that's where you should aim to be. That's the best way to aim if you want to be good on this team. Knowing that Connor Bedard is taking all this media attention, being able to try and sneak past him should be your goal. Even though if it's a friendly battle, they're obviously friends and everything, but doing that will definitely keep you motivated and at the top of your game. So Lukas Reichel, very, very big words coming from Luke Richardson on him. He got to be stronger. That's why he was scratched. He's not winning enough puck battles. He's not being as physical as he should be, as he can be, as we've seen him be. So Lukas Reichel has to start from the bottom and work his way back up. There's no handouts in this league for very few players. So Lukas Reichel is not in that inclusion. He has to work his way back up, and I expect to see the start of that tonight versus the Nashville Predators. No, we got any final thoughts before you then just want to hear about Lukas Reichel or about the Blackhawks?
Standing by the statement, he will get 2 points tonight.
Well, I'll keep you on that, but
I'll battle my war with it.
Yeah, we'll be keeping tabs on this one. So that's all I got for this video. If you did enjoy, make sure to give it a like. Make sure to subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. Like I said, if we get hit by that Christmas, that would be amazing. So that's all we got. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.